Bay win the NFC South.
You'll be able to hear it in my voice on this one. What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. This one's going to be, it's a little down, a little depressing, a little sports depressed, we can call it. I mean, my team's lost 4 in a row, 5 of the last 6. And as you can see from the thumbnail, have gone from 3-1, beating teams like the Commanders, the Lions, and the Eagles, to now 4-6. Once again, losing 5 of 6. It's the next day after the game. Let me grieve. Let me grieve. First off, shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. Fans traveled across the country, showed up, to put it lightly, to Raymond James Stadium. So did the team. Big time change. And despite losing the turnover battle, despite missing 3 field goals, despite their captain putting their long snapper in a chokehold, good teams find a way. And that's what the 49ers did, and that's what the Bucs seem to not be able to do, losing all of these close games. Detroit did the same thing last night, too. Goff throws 5 interceptions, but guess what? That Lions defense steps up in the second half. They don't give up any points, and they leave there with a win. Good teams know how to win. They find a way to win, even when it's not their best day. Like I said, the Bucs just have not found a way to win this season. They had one game against the Ravens that did not look good as well, with their top 2 receivers going out. The score looks a little closer than it actually was, only losing by 10 to the Ravens, but the rest of their losses, the 4 others. You lose to the Falcons in overtime, you lose to the Falcons at home, they take the lead late, you have a minute or so to score, you don't do it. Chiefs, you lose in overtime, and then the 49ers, you lose on a game-winning field goal. It's just not finding a way. Whatever Todd Bowles would like to call it, miscommunication, guys not being where they need to be, boneheaded plays, whatever it is, it's not working, Todd. And this defense just does not get stops when they need to get stops at all. I haven't seen it at all. I'm there in the stands yesterday, south end zone, game's 2020. About 39 seconds left on the clock, 40 seconds left on the clock. 49ers have 1 timeout, and I have no faith. I have no faith somehow that this team can just get 1 stop. Get 1 stop. And I didn't have the faith. I'm there standing, yelling, doing what you do when the game is on the line and your team is on defense. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, I know they're going to blow this. I know they're going to blow this, and they blew it. Why should I have trust in them? They haven't showed me anything all season to make me believe that they can get a stop when they need to get a stop. I just haven't seen it. Am I supposed to just start believing magically in that moment? You got to show me something. So, of course, the 49ers went right down the field, an out route here, an out route there. They're just getting out of bounds, stopping the clock with ease. Our corners are playing 12 to 15 yards off as if the 49ers need to score a touchdown. It was a tie game. Why are they 12 to 15 yards off? Why are we just giving them 7-yard out routes? So they get in a field goal range. Jake Moody, already missed 3 that day. The 49ers fan next to me is cursing him to the gods like he's the worst kicker in NFL history. And I'm like, bro, he's going to make this. I've just seen it. I've just seen it too many times. Like, I just know how this works out for the Bucs. Drills it. Ultimately, the story of this 4-6 Bucs team, you have an offense that's top 5 in scoring, and you have a defense that's bottom 5. And over these last 6 games that I'm talking about, just bottom 5 is being generous. They have been terrible. Over those last 6 games, they are 1-5. And that defense, they are 32nd in scoring defense, giving up 31 points per game. They are 32nd in total defense, giving up 425 yards a game. 31st in pass defense, 304 yards passing per game, and 31st worst in passer rating, 118 given up to their opposing quarterbacks. Are we for real? Are we for real? A team with Levante David, Kalijah Cansey, Vita Vea, Antoine Winfield Jr., Zion McCollum. That team, who, by the way, a lot of the same players, you throw in some guys like Jordan Whitehead and it somehow regresses by that much. This was a top 15 defense last year. Let's not forget that. All of a sudden, they're pretty much the worst defense in the NFL? How? Yes, there's injuries, and there's been significant injuries all season to both offense and defense. The offense is still putting up points. They've had 3 games without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and 2 of them they've still put up 24 points. They're not using the injury excuse. So the defense, yeah, Winfield missed some games, Cansey missed some games. There's things here and there. Jamel Dean is out. But to go from what you were last year to the worst in the NFL, I'm sorry, but these injuries are not an excuse for that. They're not. To go from that to that, how? So like I said, ultimately that's the story. You have a top 5 defense and a bottom 5 defense. That top 5 offense lost 2 of their best weapons. By the way, those 2 weapons are the best receivers in Buccaneer history. Still top 5 scoring offense. And then that defense, bottom 5, sprinkle in a little bit of bad game management here and there. And you end up at around a 4-6 record. I mean, it makes sense. One's top 5, one's bottom 5. You're going to be around 500, like I said, sprinkling in those game management issues. You throw in an extra loss and you're at 4-6. But still, it's just like trying to figure out what happened. Like, was the beginning of the season just a fluke? Blowing out the Commanders, by the way. This wasn't a close game, 37-20. You beat the Lions in Detroit. First off, in Detroit is already impressive enough, but they haven't lost a game the rest of the year. The Bucs are still their only loss. The Eagles, I'll give them that. They didn't have Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown, but it's just like, was this just a fluke? If it just happened one season, I think we can say, all right, it's a little fluky. But this is now back-to-back years of quite literally the same scenario. Last year, the Bucs started 3-1, ended up at 4-7. The whole purpose of this video, the Bucs started 3-1, now they're at 4-6. The fact that it happened twice now, back-to-back years, what's going on? Why? And in press conferences, when Todd Bowles is asked why, he just miscommunication, which can't possibly be the actual reason. I need to know, because back-to-back years is inexcusable. You're going to work your way out of a job. Last year, that 4-7 Bucs team was able to go on a run late in the season, put together a bunch of wins, and win the NFC South, a bad NFC South. This year, it's not happening. It's not the same division. And yes, there is a run to be made with the schedule looking ahead, but none of those are guaranteed wins. And with how this defense is playing, it seems like any team can put up points on them. The one thing I will give them is that they've played a gauntlet of a schedule, and looking at the offenses that this defense has played, it's been a lot of good ones. So they've played the Ravens, they've played the Lions, they've played the Commanders, they've played the Eagles, they've played the 49ers, they've played the Chiefs. So they've gone up against a bunch of top offenses, but it's still no excuse for being last. It's not. This is the only hope that Bucs fans are holding on to right now. You have your bye week. After the bye week, Mike Evans and Jamel Dean comes back. That's a big boost to your offense and your defense. And then you have New York, Carolina, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Dallas, Carolina again, New Orleans. This looks a lot better than this, where you got San Fran, Kansas City, Atlanta, Baltimore, Philly, Denver, Detroit, Washington. It looks a lot better, but they still have to go out there and win these games. Let me know down in the comments how many of these 7 games you think this Bucs team can win. You have to win 6 of them. 6 of the 7 to get to double digits to possibly make a wild card spot. So once again, you think they can beat New York, Carolina twice. Las Vegas doesn't look good. New Orleans doesn't look good. Los Angeles is the only team here with a positive record. So there's some fantastic wins this season that shows what this team could be, and some terrible losses that reminds you that this team can lose to anybody. And at the end of the day, they're a below average team. They're 4-6. That's below 500. That's below average. At the start of the season, we had high hopes. That 3-1 start, some big wins. 10 games in. Just to put this season in perspective, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have one more win than the Carolina Panthers. That's where we're at right now. So, the Bucs have by far the easiest schedule remaining in the entire NFL. And honestly, the fate of Todd Bowles lies in it. It really does. If you can't show improvement, if you can't put a stretch together against those opponents, he's done. He is done here in Tampa Bay if he cannot do that. It's been a wild ride so far this season, and it's going to only continue to be a wild ride. I mean, if you lose one of these games, if you lose to the Giants coming out of the bye week, if you lose to the Panthers, if you lose to the Raiders, these are terrible losses that cannot be excused the same way the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Ravens, etc. can be excused. The fate of Todd Bowles lies in this 7-game stretch. We'll see how this defense fights for him. They fought for him real tough last year. This entire team fought for Todd Bowles. Will it happen back-to-back years? Time will tell. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your comments down below. Like I said, out of that stretch of 7 games, how many games do you think this Bucs team wins? Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Go Bucs, and you all have a blessed one.